Hey guys, it's Rachel. I'm catching up on my videos, as you know, so I'm making another video quite soon after I made my other one, I am aware. This time I'm going to be looking at something called SMART goals. This is here in front of the piece of paper here. SMART basically stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time limited. Goal setting is something that has actually been researched quite a bit, and I know that one of the adolescent units close to where I am, that I think it's a PhD student, is carrying out some research on whether goal setting actually helps somebody with regards to their recovery. In terms of my recovery, I would say that it very much did help me. It can be very overwhelming to set goals because the word goal, at least for me and I think for other people, can mean something that's kind of quite big and something that, you know, if you set yourself a goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. What the idea behind this is, or how I'm interpreting it, is that your goal can be as little as you want it to be or as big as you want to be. So it can be as little as it wants, or it can be the biggest dream you've ever got. Like, my dream is to be a successful therapist, okay, and that might not seem like a huge dream, but I want to be a successful therapist and help people, and I would love a huge family, and that is what I would like. So that can be something I work towards, it can be something that I dream of, something I wish. And then you've got the practical goals in terms of what you need to do to be able to get yourself to that point, and then to the point after that. So when I was really poorly, I could think, I want to get better because I want to have a career and have a family, and that wasn't going to happen overnight, so I had to build up my goals. So what we're going to do here is, I thought I could give a couple of examples of goals and then work through this process of them being them being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time limited. And let's say, for example, right, we need a specific goal. So we want to be very clear about what we want to achieve, and we want to break it into small steps. An example could be, I would like to include a dessert following my evening meal, okay? And that can be a thought, that can be, I used to enjoy having a certain dessert. It can be yogurt, it can be cheesecake, it can be whatever the hell you want it to be, ice cream, I don't care, sorbet, whichever, okay? And so you might think to yourself, right, that is what I would like, that ultimately that is what my goal would be, okay? Your goal could be reducing your self-harm, okay? So breaking it down into smaller steps. You want to be able to perhaps let go of the things you hurt yourself with. So although you might hurt yourself, if you've removed the things that you potentially could hurt yourself with, you still could hurt yourself, but you've maybe made the effort to get rid of those things. That doesn't mean you don't go and buy them the next day or go and get them back, but you've made that effort, okay? So you're giving yourself something quite specific to focus on. Asking for it to be measurable is to do with how you know when you've achieved your goal. What will you be doing? How will it feel? What will feel different? What problems could be in your way? So if you're adding, say, a dessert, okay, how will you know whether you're achieving that? Well, ultimately, if you're managing to have that after every evening meal that you have, you are going to feel a sense of accomplishment, hopefully. You might feel a lot of guilt as well, and you might feel bad about yourself for a while. But if you're able to do it, you're proving to yourself that you can set a goal and you can actually go ahead with it. And as the weeks pass, let's say you add it once on an evening, on a Sunday evening after dinner with your family, and you would like to be able to have dessert with them because that's what happens. And you do that every week. And a number of weeks after that, you start to do it a couple of times a week. And it doesn't mean you always have to have the same thing, but you're in that process. So that's talking about how will you realise you're doing it. You'll start to feel a bit less guilty. It'll be something that becomes more routine. When it comes to reducing your self-harm, how will you know that? How can you measure it? Well, perhaps you will have the impulse to self-harm, but you will go for a walk for 20 minutes, and even if you do use the behaviour, you've actually tried to do something to help prevent it. you might get that impulse and you might act on it, but afterwards you can reflect on it in a more rational way and sort of say, well, actually I did that because of this reason, and then you have that knowledge for the next time. So it's starting to feel reassured and reflecting and being mindful, and that's the same for the goal of maybe adding a dessert to your meal plan after your dinner. It's about reflecting on that and rationalizing that. So, you know, and the problems are going to be things like guilt. The problems are going to be things like, I can't do this anymore. How am I supposed to do this? So when it comes to them being achievable, you need to do a number of steps. And this is kind of like my traffic light thing I did a couple of days ago. So you don't want to set something up that's too high and that you then fail. We can all dream, and I want you to dream. I want you to dream of amazing things, okay? But when we're coming to these practical goals, I want you to think of ways you can celebrate it. So let's say for the first time when you have a Sunday dinner with your family, you are able to have dessert. Celebrate that, and you might feel really, really guilty, but celebrate that. Feel that as an achievement, okay? But if you don't achieve it the next time, that's okay too, okay? That's okay, because you achieved it that one time. And then what you keep trying to do is to do that, and once you've mastered that, you take the next step, which might be doing it more frequently. So it's gradually building this up. With the self-harm, okay, you might be able to resist the urge to self-harm in an instant, but then self-harm later in the day because of something else. You might not self-harm. I know some people who can not self-harm. A lot of people it tends to be very black and white with. So you might not self-harm for, say, 2 weeks, and then it happens. And yes, you might feel bad because you'll be like, oh, I can't believe it, I've gone 2 weeks. But don't be too hard on yourself, because then that might actually cause you to hurt yourself more. But berate yourself a little bit, enough to just kind of feel like, I didn't want to do that. I really, really wanted to try hard not to do that. Okay, realistic and resourced. So do you have the resources around you? Is there anything you might need or could help you? How could you access them? What problems might you have? How do you minimize those problems? Okay, if you're going to add dessert, okay, that's an incredibly difficult thing. I suggested doing it on, say, a Sunday afternoon when your your family has dinner, so you're with people. So these are some of the resources. You need to look at what's around you, who's around you, what people can help you. If there's therapeutic intervention, if there's coaching calls made available to you. I had a friend who was trying to add a yogurt to her lunch after having her lunch. And I said, if you need me, call me. And she would phone me and she'd be like, I can't believe I'm phoning you because I've just had a yogurt. And over time, that became easier and easier for her. So she was looking at what was around her. And that's what you need to do. Rather than looking at what you don't have, you need to start looking at what you do have. So if you can look at what you do have, you can then use those resources that are around you. And it's the same with the self-harm. Is there a support group you could go to? Is there somebody you could talk to who has been there before? Is there a way of you getting rid of the things that hurt you? Is there something you can do from having that impulse? Can you get yourself out of the house? Can you write down or use something like the traffic light system I discussed? Have that in front of you as, right, what do I do now? What was I trying to do when I'm trying to achieve not self-harming here? So what can I do? I can go for a run, I can call a friend, I can get out of the house, I can go for a drive, I can play really loud music, I can go into the middle of nowhere and scream at the top of my voice if that's what I want to do. So that's the type of thing we're looking at. And time limited. There's no point in saying, oh, I'll do that at some point, because if we say I'll do that at some point, we'll never do anything, okay? So when it comes to adding a food group or a dessert to your meal plan, if you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day, I'll do it the day after that, oh, I'm not ready to do that yet. You need to be willing to take those steps, because that's essentially what recovery is. So I need you to take that step. I need you to say, right, okay, by the end of 4 weeks, I would like to have at least tried to have not self-harmed when something has triggered me, okay? I want to have at least attempted to not use that, okay? And with the dessert thing, you might want to say, okay, right, for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to try and have that once a week after my meal, and then after 4 weeks, I'm going to try and do it twice, 3 times a week. And you build it up in ways that are realistic, and then say, right, by the end of 2 months, I want having dessert to just be something that I do. And that it is still hard because I'm still early in my recovery, but it's something I do because it's become part of my routine and I feel more comfortable with it. And with the self-harm, you could say, okay, I've gone 2 weeks and I would like to try and go another 2 weeks without self-harming, and by the end of 6 months it would be nice to think that I'm not frequently self-harming again, and that after 12 months that self-harm is something I only really resort to when I'm incredibly distressed. So these are the kind of goals I'm thinking of. You can apply it to anything, and if you want some advice from me or from any of us on the team, you contact us, or you can contact me via my blog or through Facebook if there's a specific thing that you would like to work on. So I hope that's helped you out, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.